leveraging a new piece of technology. This is a technology that was manufactured by Patel, a defense contracting company in the United States. It's a technology that is designed to get on the ground and actually bring in used N95 masks and do a sterilization and cleaning process that makes them basically new again. And this is new technology that has been certified by the FDA and CDC, and it will be here in California here within the next week. This capability will have the ability to clean up to 80,000 masks per day. So what this does is that we will work a coordinated effort with our hospitals and first responders and being able to utilize the PPE that has been used that meets the criteria. We'll bring it to this center. The center will then sterilize these masks, and we'll be able to repurpose them again back in the field again. So to sort of close out, there are a number of different efforts that are happening simultaneously. These are all sustainable. They will meet our needs in the short, medium, and long term. And it is, as the governor said, leveraging the power of California's buying capability. It's leveraging the great relationships we have with many organizations and agencies to build the capacity that we need. And as the weeks go on, we'll provide additional updates on how all of this continues to progress. This is not a silver bullet. There are always challenges in anything that we are attempting of this scale and scope. But we believe by putting in the various checks and balances that we have and the great partnerships that we have in place, this will be successful moving forward.
Well, thank you. The governor's briefing on coronavirus in the state on
Director. So it's about sustainable pipeline of commodities, and we think we are in a very different place than we were just a week or so ago. I want to congratulate the director and his remarkable team for organizing a new construct and a new approach to getting adequate PPE. And as I said, it can't come sooner, particularly now with new mandates across the state as it relates to face coverings, employer mandates, not just consumer mandates as it relates to those that may be purchasing food or essential supplies and their need to also have appropriate face coverings. The big concern has always been a run on masks that would impact our healthcare delivery system and our first responders over the course of the next few weeks. We believe that will substantially be addressed. But again, one should be very cautious in this space. We have been sober, I think, about the last few months. What appeared promising and didn't necessarily materialize, but we, I think, are in a very different place, and the size and the totality of these new contracts and the $495 million first distribution of resources gives you, I think, a sense of the magnitude of this approach and how comprehensive we believe we are. As always, we made this point from the outset here today, when the state of California has excess capacity, working with our federal partners, working through the FNF, the Strategic National Stockpile, we will avail ourselves to others in need. And that includes not just ventilators, but certainly would include issues related to PPE. So as we scale up, as these supplies arrive, as they become, as we see more certainty, we'll be in a much better position to help support the efforts of others in partnership, again, with FEMA and those doing procurement and appropriately resourcing that procurement on an as-needed basis to parts of this country that are most in need. So that's broad strokes where we are on the PPE side. Very good progress, and it cannot, again, come soon enough. Also wanted to give you an update, a progress report on the total numbers of positive COVID-19 cases in the state of California, the ICU numbers, the hospitalization numbers, update you on the number of deaths, but also to update you on the disaggregation of data that we are finally getting and receiving and organizing as it relates the issues of race and ethnicity. And I'll give you a progress report on that in just a minute. But let me give you the numbers first in the aggregate. 16,957 individuals that have been tested positive for COVID-19. 1,154 in our ICUs. That represents a 4.2% increase from the previous day. 2,714 individuals that are hospitalized in our system. That represents a 3.9% increase from the previous day. Sadly, we had one of our highest death rates in the state so far. Now with 68 individuals that passed away over the last 24 hours. We now have 442 individuals that have lost their lives tragically. 442 families torn asunder since this virus hit the state of California. Our hearts go out to all of them, particularly on today, Passover. And so I want to just extend our deep sympathy and empathy for all of those struggling and suffering from not only this moment, but then the deep impact losing a loved one is having on families, large and small, all throughout the state of California. Now, as it relates to disaggregation of data, a lot of attention is appropriately being placed, as it always must be placed, on the issue of disparities. It's the cause, again, I said this yesterday, that unites many of the folks that work here in the state of California. They come to public service because of a deep desire to right wrongs and deal with systemic issues. Nothing more frustrating than the systemic challenges, the disparities that manifest in relationship to public health. And those issues preceded this crisis, and they continue to persist even within this crisis. I made the point yesterday as it relates to access to testing. I made a prospective point looking into the future about access to treatment and vaccines and how we must always have a lens of addressing equity in that context. And I assure you, we are having very deliberative conversations in that space. But here are the new numbers. I mentioned 16,957 individuals in the state of California that are currently tested positive. That's 16,957. Within that, there's a subset that we've been able to disaggregate. We're only at 37.2% of that number that have reported in. And I can assure you, we have 10 people, no less than 10 people, that are calling coroner's offices, calling hospitals, double-checking data. Not every city, not every county is providing that data in real time, but we're trying to work with those that have, make sure that we scrub that data. I said yesterday I wanted to wait till all that data was presented, but understandably people are eager for transparency in real time. So as I said when I said to my daughter a month before we formalized some of the announcements around public schools that I needed to be honest